Going into last night's midterms, almost everyone was expecting a huge night for Republicans. A red wave that would wash away the Democrats in Congress and yank off Joe Biden's swim trunks so everyone could see his old man butt. But now the votes are in. And already, people are realizing that although there's still a lot left to count, it's clear that the red wave did not show up.
This morning, control of Congress up in the air, with both the House and Senate still hanging in the balance. Republicans acknowledging the expected red wave never materialized.
With 5 races still to call, it's unclear who will control the Senate. Control of the House is leaning Republican, but only barely. Democrats overall are doing much better than expected.
That predicted red wave only appears to be a splash, if you will.
The word wave has no application yet to what we're seeing. This might feel more like the edge of a lake.
This really looks much more like a red whisper, if that.
This wasn't even a red wave. It's not even a red little ripple in a pond.
I've heard it called, the red sprinkler. I've heard it called the red splash, the red puddle.
The red drizzle, the red spritz. Yeah, you know when you're peeing and then a little bit comes out after you're done? It's a red one of those. You should probably go get that checked out, by the way. And like some of these didn't even make sense. Like, I'm sorry, but what is a red whisper? What is that, like ASMR for conservatives? Is that what that is? It's just like, now I'm crumpling up the Voting Rights Act. Oh, yeah. But yes, last night was not the red wave that many people expected it to be. And to be clear, Republicans are still in good shape to take control of the House, and they may even take control of the Senate when it's all said and done. Now, it's too early to tell, because, America counts its votes as slowly as George R.R. Martin writes the books, but it's definitely not the huge win that they were expecting. So it feels like a loss, which is really strange to me about politics. It's the only place where you can technically win, but still lose because people thought you were going to win more. Basically, Republicans got the hand job version of winning. Yeah, like, it got the job done, but no one's really happy about it. It's like, I could have done this to myself. And again, lots of races are still undecided. Arizona and Nevada won't be done counting votes for a few more days. We won't know who won Alaska's races until the dog sled arrives. And the big Senate race in Georgia looks like it is headed to a runoff in December. Yeah, which is only going to screw up Herschel Walker's brain even more, right? Don't think about it, like, another election? Has it been 6 years already? Oh, man. That means I got 35 children now. What's happening? Oh, wow. But one big race that was decided last night was in Pennsylvania, where John Fetterman defeated Dr. Oz. Which, you gotta admit, is exciting for the Capitol because nobody in the Senate looks like this guy. I mean, You seen this? He doesn't look like everyone. He's massive. He's got the bald head, the goatee, the hoodie, which is dope. Normally, senators look like your dad's boss from work, John Fetterman looks like he can physically raise the debt ceiling. 37 trillion! And look, now, one of the reasons so many people were surprised by last night's results is that for weeks, pundits had been saying that there are only a few issues that really matter to Americans right now, like inflation, crime, and whatever the hell is going on with the Twitter check marks. And in particular, the experts were saying that voter concerns about abortion had faded since the summer. Well, I guess all those experts have been fired and will never be allowed back on television because it turns out they were just a little bit wrong.
The issue of abortion turned out to be a massive factor yesterday, with the Supreme Court's decision in the Dobbs case to overturn Roe v. Wade playing a much bigger role than polls before the election suggested.
In California, Michigan, and Vermont, voters chose to enshrine reproductive rights into their states' constitutions. The biggest surprise came in Republican-leading Kentucky, where voters rejected an anti-abortion constitutional amendment.
It was a huge night for abortion rights across the country. I mean, women voted in droves. Yes, well, people said a few weeks ago that it didn't matter, that it was fading. Turns out that wasn't right.
Yeah, it turns out abortion rights didn't fade away as a concern. And it's crazy that people ever thought it would. You know, like what women out there would be like, you know, it really bothered me over the summer when the state government wanted to take control of my reproductive system. But now I'm like, whatever, yeah. Maybe my body is their choice, I don't know. So it looks like abortion rights were the big win last night. And it looks like the big loser last night was none other than Donald Jump the Shark Trump. Because so far, it looks like many of the candidates he endorsed ended up being unendorsed by the voters.
Here's what we know for sure this morning. It was a disappointing night for former President Trump.
The biggest loser last night was Donald Trump. In state after state, candidates that he brought to the race, candidates that he endorsed, did not win or are losing right now.
But perhaps the worst result for Trump is that his biggest Republican rival had the best night of anybody.
Florida Governor Ron DeSantis might have moved closer to a possible 2024 presidential bid with a commanding victory over former Governor Charlie Crist.
That's right. It was a bad night for Trump and a great night for his rival, Ron DeSanctimonious, who absolutely crushed it in Florida. I mean, crushed it like bath salts crushed it. And judging by this post on his knockoff Twitter, Trump is not taking it well. Yeah, he wrote, "Shouldn't it be said that in 2020, I got 1.1 million more votes in Florida than Ron D got this year? 5.7 million to 4.6 million. Just asking." Oh, wow. You see what you've done, Ron DeSantis? Huh? You see what you've done? You made Trump so mad, he's doing math. 4.6 plus 5.7. Even sounding like Shakespeare in that. Shouldn't it be said? And hitherto forth. And here's the thing that's exciting about this. DeSantis' success, combined with Trump's failures, is already causing chaos in the Republican Party, right? Because now Republicans are asking themselves, what do we do? Do we stick with Trump, who's screwed up 2 elections now, but still controls all of the hardcore Republicans and is also completely toxic with everyone else? Or do we go with Ron DeSantis, who's clearly the upgrade of Trump? But then you risk losing Trump, and then he burns down the entire GOP. What do you do? And it's funny. It's so funny to watch, because all these conservatives, they don't know what to do. All right? They're just like, do I go with Trump? Do I go with DeSantis? If I had principles, I would follow them, but I just want to be on the winning side. Which one do I go with? You know, right now, conservatives in America are like kids who can see a bad divorce coming, and they want to pick sides, but they're not sure which parent is going to keep the house. But it's true. Trump had a tough night. You know, this poor guy was just at home watching his top election deniers lose and crying into a box of classified documents. Nuclear. But because this is Donald Trump, he's not taking responsibility. In fact, it's being reported that he's blaming Melania for pushing him to endorse Dr. Oz in the first place, saying it was, quote, not her best decision. Yeah, and I'm sure in response, Melania was like, yes, it's true, I'm very bad at picking men. But not everything about the election was about Democrats or Republicans, so let's take a moment to appreciate all the historic moments from last night.
We want to tell you about several historic firsts across the country. In Alabama, Republican Katie Britt, the winner in the race for U.S. Senate. She is the first woman ever elected to the Senate in Alabama. In Maryland, Democrat Wes Moore will be the state's first black governor. And Massachusetts made history on 2 fronts. Democratic Attorney General Maura Healey will become the first female governor in the state's history. And she will also be the nation's first openly lesbian governor. Election history was also made in Florida. 25-year-old Democrat Maxwell Frost is set to be the first member of Generation Z to win a seat in Congress.
Wow. A 25-year-old congressman. That's going to be great to have a young person in Congress. And by young, I mean under 85. I mean, it will be tough, though. It will be tough being that young around that many old people. You know, half his time is going to be spent helping them with their phones. He's going to be in the middle of a speech like, and that's why my district and the people of it deserve the... What, Chuck? No, just swipe up. Swipe up to close the app. No, swipe up. No, don't click that. There are not really hot singles in your area. It's a trick, Chuck. It's a trick. And there are a lot of other cool firsts, too. Women first, LGBTQ first, immigrant first. Honestly, I almost feel bad for anyone who won last night and wasn't a historic first. There was probably some straight white guy last night giving his victory speech like, it's an honor to be the first governor in state history who can, do this? Pretty sick, right? Yeah, no, just me? All right, that's it for the headlines. But before we go to a break, it's time to check in on the weather forecast with our very own Desi Leidick, everybody. Good to see you again, Desi. Great to see you. You know, it's getting cold in the east. There's storms everywhere. What's the weather looking like?
Weather's great. Look outside. What I want to talk about is how people came out and voted for abortion rights all over this country. Yeah. Big deal, including my home state of Kentucky. Yeah!
That was shocking.
Huge! Kentucky, Trevor, the state where women have fewer rights than most horses. It's true. I mean, in college, I had to get my birth control from a horse vet.
Wow, veterinarian, that's terrible, Desi.
Yeah, right? I mean, they also had ketamine, so it wasn't all bad. And that year, I went on to win the Belmont. Anyway, also, New York and Massachusetts elected female governors for the first time. Yeah. Which is a win. It is a win. But if we're being honest, like, how is this only happening now? In New York and Massachusetts. These two states have been states since the beginning of states. You know how long women have been around? Like, at least that long, maybe more. Oh, and how about that Ron DeSantis victory last night, huh?
Yeah.
Oh my God, I almost feel bad for Donald Trump, you know? He had to smile and clap for DeSantis on the outside when he was fuming with jealousy on the inside. Trump finally felt like one of his beauty pageant contestants. And perhaps the best news is that the massive red wave only hit Florida. Oh, man, and I think all women can agree it's always a good thing when your red wave is lighter than you expected. I just want to say, I get how Republicans are feeling. I mean, sometimes you expect your red wave to arrive and it doesn't. And then you start to panic. You know? You consider your options, which are suddenly very limited. Yeah, plus, with this runoff in Georgia, you might not know if your red wave is coming for another few weeks, and by then it might be too late. And the next thing you know, Herschel Walker's sending you a get well card with a check in it. Anyway, I just want to say to all of those Republicans who are feeling this way, don't stress. Trust me. I've got a great veterinarian in Kentucky you can call. Top notch.
Desi Leidick, everybody.